Hey everybody, this is Eddiember coming at you with another Skeletal Stories, where we go into games and discover the secrets that the dead have to tell us. A tragic love triangle, an impossible choice, and a very, very poor choice of words. This is the story of Olra, Ashe, and Grette, who were damned for eternity due to their love for each other. This story is the sole focus of Bitterblack Isle expansion for Dragon Dogma, so warning, spoilers. To fully understand the tragedy of these three, a short explanation is required involving the lore. Essentially, a great dragon appears and starts terrorizing the world every couple of years. When the dragon is doing dragon stuff, destroying towns and whatnot, it seeks people out it deems worthy of fighting it. When it finds such a person, it tears out the person's heart, yet it keeps the person alive, branding that person Arisen. From that point forward, the Arisen is driven to hunt the dragon down and win back his heart. He is joined by a pawn, basically a being from another world, that looks like a human but doesn't quite have the same spark that humans have. This pawn comes to be shaped by the Arisen and eventually takes his likeness. Also, thankfully, it comes with a mute button because these pawns just keep talking. Upon reaching the dragon, the beast gives the Arisen a choice. Either attempt to slay it, or be granted a wish in exchange for the pawn's life. With that lore dump out of the way, I present to you the body we will be analyzing. Unlike many of the other skeletons we've seen along the way, this one actually has skin on it, meaning it is likely to be recently deceased. However, another look at it will reveal she must have been here for a while, considering her clothes appear to be decaying. With her staff in hand, it is safe to say that she was either a mage or a sorcerer. This is at the end of Bitterblack Isle, but as you have progressed through the labyrinths, you are given story of this body one sentence at a time, often found in the middle of combat. Luckily, this game was kind enough to compile all the sentences in one place after you unlock them. The Memorial of Remembrance at the beginning of Bitterblack Isle progressively fills as you get deeper. Most recount the stories of other Arisen who has come to the Isles, but we are going to be looking at the last 7, accounting the story of the 3 lovers, Grette, Ashe, and Olra, starting with Ashe's account.
Still a child, I stood amid the ashes of my village. Through the driving rains, 2 figures came. One, a woman of golden hair, extended me her hand, perhaps in pity. Grette was the name she gave. A hunter of sorts, she said. Her quarry, the worm. As she spoke, the woman at her side simply stood and watched me, wordless. She was a pawn, come of a different world, the first I had seen. Her air was strange, yet somehow alluring. I chose to join them, this Arisen and her pawn. It seemed that, or stand forever in the ruins of a lost life. They offered no words of invitation, yet neither did they turn me away as I followed. As we traveled, I was taught to fight. Grette was my mentor, my mother. She breathed new life into my parched soul. Then came the day the huntress found her mark. She left to face the worm. That day's parting proved final. Her pawn returned, alone and scarce alive. Gone was the bold and faithful Myrmidon who had served as Grette's steel. Her empty eyes stared through me now. And what of the worm? Had our mistress felled the beast and stayed calamity? The pawn held no answers. Her mind and soul as broken as her body. Yet no more of the earth was swallowed up. No more was the sky stained black. It seemed the world had been ransomed. Or left at least to fester in the custody of humankind. I was left with a single hope, a single wish. To bring back light to the deadened eyes of a masterless Myrmidon. She was a pawn, I knew it well. Not human, not of this land. And what of it? She bore Grette's mien, her face. Wheel or nil, I soon found myself in love.
Ashe's town was destroyed by a dragon when he was a child. I think it will be safe to say that the town that we found the body in is the town that he grew up in. Grette and her pawn allowed him to follow and taught him how to fight. When Grette discovered the dragon, she and her pawn went alone, but only her pawn returned, stripped of most of her memories, but looking similar to Grette. It was assumed that the dragon was killed, as the obvious signs of dragon has vanished. Ashe took it upon himself to take care of the masterless pawn, and eventually came to love her. Now we will be looking at Olra's account of the story.
To serve her master and be as she commands, to be shaped in her image, that is the part of a pawn. But my master's image is no longer her own. Defeated by the world's steward, she fell into perdition. Having witnessed her fail to achieve her purpose, my breast was filled with regret. Yet amid that darkness, a spark of light too took root. Within my soul, a crude and inchoate mirror to the arisen's own, new strength emerged. I had awoken to love. I came to notice the changes within me as his tireless ministration saw my shattered memories slowly mend. I came to love him as my master had before me. Then some years later, fate came on dragon's wings to mark him an arisen, as his master was before him. Though his heart was lost, he seemed more alive than ever. He burned with new purpose to slay the worm and avenge Grette. I became his pawn of my own will. I too saw in this a new calling, to love him, serve him, and lend him strength, ultimately to become as him. It was a fate I welcomed gladly. Defeat me or speak your wish and offer up a sacrifice. A second time I heard the dragon's bargain spoke. Yet I felt a strange reluctance in its tone, as if the ultimatum were given unwilling. And in that moment, I knew it. The worm we now faced was my former master transformed. The revelation tore him apart. Whichever his choice, the wages were cruel tragedy. A new and dark desire poured forth from his sundered soul. His wish for power to destroy all existence marked me for death. And yet I never blamed him. For as my life was snuffed out, I held firm to my belief. The day would come, I knew, when he, our master, and I myself would find redemption.
So at first it was assumed that Grette died slaying the dragon, but eventually the dragon returned and branded Ashe as an arisen, similar to his master. He sought to slay the dragon, but in a cruel twist of fate, as he met the dragon and was offered the choice, he came to realize that the dragon was the one he once saw as a mother figure, Grette. His choice was either to sacrifice the one he loved for a wish, or slay the one he saw as a mother figure, assuming he would likely turn into a dragon himself. Seriously, we have a combination of sin from Final Fantasy X here, mixed with the fallacy from Final Fantasy XII. Why doesn't somebody here just explain what's happening? Finally, we have Grette's account of the story. I chose to cut some things out from this particular one since it delves more into what it's like being a dragon, rather than the love triangle that I was looking at. But to summarize, she was trapped watching everything unfold while her body had acted on its own.
To know the unknown, that was my dream. To walk new frontiers and ancient halls alike, and to see all that this world holds. I was prepared to overcome any obstacle that barred my wandering. And so, when the dragon plucked the heart from my breast, I knew only joy. With new power and ageless life, I was free. I knew no greater treasure than freedom, no higher virtue, and yet, What drove me then to take him with me? What ought have seemed a fetter became my greatest joy, my greatest love. And now, I haven't even the freedom of my own will. I followed the Arisen's path, past the worm into the halls of the World Steward. And there, my path ended. In defeat, I was remade a dragon. The will that drives this cursed form to seek the Arisen is not my own. My will, my love, and all I am is crushed beneath its weight. Its force does not allow me even the luxury of regret. I am near drunk with it, though I war against it still with every shred of what once I was. In my final act, as a thinking being, I chose him for my destroyer. The question fell from my lips unbidden. What is your choice? Were it his wish, I would welcome death at his hands. Nay, I desired it. But his wavering gave voice to a new wish. That the world, its gods, and he himself be damned. My role was set, my actions bound. I existed in that moment solely to give his wishes form. And so I did. I answered his desire, his cry of despair. And his love, my former shadow, was the price. My dreams have died unfulfilled, though I have neither the means to change that fact, nor the free will to mourn them. Perhaps what has transpired will serve some greater use. Let it be as a wedge struck into the chains that bind our endless hollow world, that those to follow may shatter them. I failed in my quest to explore the unknown, but if it serves some use in ending this cruel cycle, I can believe my life held meaning.
So in a poor choice of words, Ashe had accidentally wished himself, the gods, and the world to be damned, sacrificing Olra and presumably creating Bitterblack Isles, a world created from his memories destroyed. Through the story, I feel it is safe to assume that the body that we found at the beginning of the video is Olra, the love of Ashe and the pawn of Grette. I can safely say that it's not Grette, as Grette had become the dragon, and it's highly unlikely it is Ashe, as, well, Ashe is a guy. So, the important question is, what happened to Ashe and Grette? Well, it is revealed in the final few pages of the Memorial of Remembrance.
What a base, trifling creature is man. I bid you, hone your spirit, refine it.
Now choose. Stand against me, or speak your wish. Offer your beloved in forfeit, and I shall see your will done.
Choose? How am I to choose? No matter my answer, the price is death. A hollow choice. Who am I to stand as arbiter of two lives? What would you have me do? You brought me here. If this be the will of the gods, the order of the world, then damn the lot of them! I'll tear the whole of it asunder!
Very well. If that be your wish, I shall claim my price.
Stop! No!
Arisen, bearer of the dragon's mark, undying corpse, enjoined to make your will manifest. If my voice reaches you, heed me well. The Arisen, the Seneschal, the whole cursed world, all is but an illusion. A meaningless refrain, a hollow echo. What sense is there in giving one's life for these falsehoods? I damn them all. And I will not cease in my destruction until the last senseless cycle is broken. The last bond rent to dust.
First of all, totally admit that I played on easy mode while fighting this boss. Secondly, without going into too much detail, the Arisen are chosen by the gods. Ashe damned the gods in his curse. When the dragon granted his wish, he likely gave Ashe the power to draw the Arisen to himself to screw the gods over, and as it had been explained, many Arisen are drawn to this place naturally, but the question is, why? Well, the answer is pretty obvious. There is still a dragon there. Grette and Ashe became one.
Slave to a broken order, dare you look upon the truth? I have seen the scattering of countless myriad souls. They gather and flow to become as the river of time, expanding to fill the firmament. What a base creature is man. Yet at once is he the master of this imperial flow. Ground is all the heavens. I bid you, hone the spirit, refine it. I shall await you all in the crucible of sin.
And that is the tragic tale of Olra, Grette, and Ashe. A poor choice of words, coupled with love, a lack of instructions from the gods to their chosen ones, and a lack of gray in terms of rules of wishing, led to this tragedy. Thank you for watching this episode of Skeletal Stories, and until next time, this is Eddiember, signing out.
Locked.